good evening, everybody. Good evening on the West Coast. It's 6:35 on the West Coast. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. This thing that you're tuning into is called LOVEWORKS. And tonight, and this is for all the channels from TikTok, God bless you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all of you guys. I want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. It is, without a doubt, one of the heavy hearts that I come to you tonight on a topic that is annual. It's annual. It is something that we deal with on a yearly basis, where somebody we know, people we're connected to, or somebody we admire takes their lives. Literally just to say, you know what, I'm done. I quit. I'm moving on. Y'all can stay here. I'm going on to a better place, whatever that looks like. And I wanted to tackle this tonight on this particular thought, getting through depression. And for those of you who are joining me, I pastor. I give definitely biblical advice when it comes down to things of the spirit. And I'm tackling not just the mental, but also the spiritual tonight. So if you're just now joining me, God bless you. I thank you so much for the opportunity to come into your home, your phone, wherever you are. My name is Ricardo Arce. Ladies and gentlemen, this is LOVEWORKS. Tonight, we're going to get into this discussion that is needed. So y'all bear with me, and we'll get through this together. Is that all right? Come on, let's go. Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. Tonight on LOVEWORKS, I wanted to touch on a basic topic, getting through depression. Although a basic one, a very challenging one. During this season, as we know that people go through a serious moment in their lives where they get depressed. And in their depression, they lose hope in a lot of areas. And unfortunately, the world has lost a tremendous gift that he had, not just as a human being, but as talent. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, please just stay on with me for a little while, and I'm going to hopefully give some understanding on what could have happened, why people go through depression. And TikTok, you can't see everything that's on my screen, but my endeavor is to make sure that soon I'll be able to project whatever's on this screen onto TikTok. So y'all just bear with me on that. But as we move forward, we see that a young man pretty much took his life. And I'm speaking none other than Stefan, if I'm saying his name correctly, forgive me, Twitch Boss. Mr. Boss, being a young man, he was only 40 years old. He took his own life. And as he took his life, he left behind a beautiful wife and 3 beautiful children. And there are a whole bunch of stuff that's flying around about him and so forth. And of course, all the media's trying to give their insight, what could have happened, to really, honestly, to give answers to us. Just not to say that they're gossiping, but this man decided to leave his family. The rumors that are going on right now, which I lean towards could be factual, that he, Mr. Boss, was in a financial strap. What that means is that he invested in, like a lot of people lost their money in NFT and also FTX, which filed for bankruptcy. People have lost millions, if not billions. This company has to do with cryptocurrency. If you don't know about it, please look it up. And like him and other celebrities, they went on and they decided to invest in it. And as they invested in it, they lost their shirt. Wasn't him. Shaq lost money. A lot of different celebrities lost a lot of money. This is beyond the Bernie situation. If you remember him taking like 50 billion, this is beyond that. So you can imagine, what his family's going through, his mother, father, all the people around him on what they're going through. And I wanted to touch on tonight, and just to give you an understanding, ladies and gentlemen, I do this program called LOVEWORKS. It is working love out. That's the key thing about love. Love is a verb. It's what you do. It's not just about receiving, but it's about giving. And I'm a realist when it comes down to a lot of these things. When it comes down to relationships, I pull no punches on it. I've been in this thing now 28 years with one woman. I've been married 26 years to one woman. And I can tell you the ins and outs, the drama that goes on with it, the headaches, but also the great things that come out of a relationship. So that is my qualification, not to mention the spiritual aspect. I pastor a church here in LA called Destin LA. And I do my best to make sure to be as transparent as I possibly can when it comes down to relationships. So if you're looking to grow, this is the place for you. I do my best to get on here often, at least twice a week. It's usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's usually when I'm on. Tonight, I am tackling a topic that I don't normally tackle on this particular channel. So tonight, again, we're talking about getting through depression. I want to talk to you about that tonight and take some time out to maybe answer some questions also. So let's jump into this. I'm going to give you some statistics first. So United States depression in the United States, listen, affects over 18 million adults. 1 in 10 adults suffer from depression in any given year. It is the leading cause of disability, listen, from the age of 15 to 44. It literally is a disability for a lot of people where they can't function. And I'll give you some symptoms in a second, but there are people who function or try to function. They cannot. They can't go to work. They let it be. They have to stay at home. They just don't want to function. They just don't want to live. And so, a lot of it does lead to suicide. And I'll get to that in a bit. It is the primary reason why someone dies of suicide about every 12 minutes. Every 12 minutes. So that means in the last year, 41,000 people a year. This is what happens to people. Yeah. What is depression exactly? So this is the Webster's Dictionary, pretty much definition, ladies and gentlemen. Webster's definition defines depression as a mood disorder marked especially by sadness, inactivity, difficulty of thinking, and concentration. There's some other things, but I didn't have enough room to lay this out. But what is going on right now with a lot of people is that when they have anxiety, they don't know how to cope with certain things. And let me share this with you. Here is where it gets ugly. But for those of you who are on, please don't check out on me because I'm saying something that maybe you may disagree with. I want to hear your counter. I want to hear something different. So it is one of the things about a certain generation. I'm a Generation X. We had to endure a lot and a lot of foolishness, but we had to function through it. Someone bullied us, we beat them up. Not bullying situation. And there are different types of bullying. I get it. However, that doesn't mean that you don't get depressed. We just handle depression differently. Our parents put a lot of pressure on us to do what we needed to do. And it wasn't so much that we didn't go through anything. It's just we handled it different. We handled it different. And so unfortunately, what goes on with a lot of people when they don't know how to handle certain things, depression is one of the things they can go into. And if you don't get your mind right, you'll start sitting there. And as it mentioned pretty much in the definition, inactivity, you'll start pretty much become very stagnant in your life. You won't grow. You won't reach for things in relationships, career, whatever. Physically, there's a lot of different things that come into play. Now, that can come into a place where some people chemically, it can mess them up. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about this. How do you know if you're depressed? How do you know? So in knowing that you're depressed, there's some things that you pretty much have to look for. There's some things that you have to see and analyze. So the first thing, pretty much the symptoms. And this is coming from the Mayo Clinic. Please look it up. The Mayo Clinic, pretty much.org. Go look at it. And I quote, feeling of sadness, tearfulness, emptiness, and hopelessness. These are some of the symptoms. Again, this is some of the symptoms. Angry outburst, irritability, or frustration, even over small matters. Depression. Loss of interest or pleasure in most of all normal activities, such as sex, hobbies, or sports. Sleep disorders, disruptions. Including insomnia and also sleeping too much. Sleeping too much. So Rick, but that's normal. You might want to get some thought on why you do this. Don't just sweep it under the rug. This is just who I am. No, it's not. Let me move. Tiredness and lack of energy or even small tasks take a huge effort. It could be that you might be depressed. And if that's you, I'm talking to you right now. If you're listening, please understand this is important. Everyone uses God. I just read this. I'm sorry. Everyone uses pretty much God and pretty much against conscience. Don't give any money. I don't care. I don't. Do not give any money. I don't know. But please don't. If that's the case, please don't. Keep it to yourself. Make yourself rich. I don't care. I don't need your money. I just want to help. So let's move. Reduce appetite, weight loss, and increase of cravings for food or weight gain. So it could go either way, where you lose a lot of weight or you gain a lot of weight. For me, when I get into a mood or whatever, you can become what you call an emotional eater, and you got to be careful with it. If anybody can testify to that, hit that like button if you know what I'm saying. That you just overeat just a little bit. So usually it comes from anxiety, stressed out, whatever that looks like. But some people do eat more than often. That doesn't mean that you're depressed necessarily. But I'm giving you, again, some symptoms that you might want to look at. I'm going to give you a couple of more. Anxiety. Anxiety is a big one. Yeah. So anxiety, restlessness, and so forth. Slowed thinking. Yeah. A little delayed. Speaking or body moves. You're just sluggish. You just don't want to do it. It's another thing. I'm going to give you one more and I'll move. Feeling of worthlessness or guilt. Fixating on the past failures or self-blame. Whenever you replay that movie in your head, you buy a ticket every night. You pop popcorn and you sit in the theater of your mind, popping the popcorn and thinking about the failures, the struggles, the issues, what they did, what they didn't do, how they didn't do it. When you come into that mindset, you got to learn to fight through. You got to learn to fight through. What that means for me, when it comes down to fighting through, you have to really put yourself and for me, it's prayer. For me, I go and seek a level of getting outside of me. What that looks like for me, going downtown to feed the homeless, coming out of myself to help others. That's the key thing. Coming out of myself to help others. And this is intuitive to understand because, and I say important because once you start understanding that it's a pattern in your head that you may get to a depression, you have to learn to fight your way out of it. I've seen it over and over again. To get around people to pretty much they feel I'm calling them up. Let's go hang out. Come on. Let's go. What's going on? Having those talks. So you have to learn to come out of yourself. When I say fighting, that means that you have to come out of yourself, find other people like-minded, like pretty much, or I'll say who will bring you out of the situation. Sometimes it could be a person that you know you can trust. Let me tell you something. There are times when you could talk to an elder, a person who may be a little older than you, and you can sit with them and interact with them, and they get pretty much the struggle that you may have or whatever, and they interact with you, and you start seeing you start seeing it differently. Counseling is a big one. Counseling is a big one. Let me move. All right, number 4, depression is not a problem for adults, or not just a problem for adults, excuse me. It is a big problem for teens. If you're on here who's watching me, if you're a young person, if you're middle age, I don't care what age you are, but specifically your teens, if you have teens in your house, there's certain things you have to really, really look for. I mentioned all of those things, feeling worthlessness and so forth. And you see it higher amongst teens. You see it higher amongst teens. Listen, the total number of teenagers who recently experienced depression, listen, increased by 59% between 2007 and 2017. So 10 years. Imagine what happened after the pandemic. And this is, again, these are statistics coming from 2017. They're about to do another one. They usually do it every 10 years. They're about to do another one. And right now, literally, since the pandemic, there have been plenty of people who have hurt themselves. There have been plenty of people who went through depression and they don't know how to come out of it. Let me finish reading this. The rate and growth, listen, was faster for teen girls, 66%, than teen boys, 44%. 44%. So teen girls, pretty much self-esteem. This is, and I'm going to share this with you. This is important for the parents. It's so important to speak life over your children. Take time out and speak life over them. Start declaring things over their life. You say, Rick, that sounds strange. That sounds like some hoodoo, whatever. No. Learn to speak life over your children. Learn to lay hands on them. Learn to pretty much speak to them. Affirmations. I don't know if you need to paste it on the wall. I don't know if you need to pretty much get up and have a record. I don't know, but you have to do this specifically to my young daughters. To the daughters, you want to make sure you start speaking life into them. Let them know how beautiful they are. Let them know, speak life over them. Let them know how beautiful they are, how wonderful they are, how beautiful they, when they wake up, whatever. They need to hear it from you, fathers especially. I'm going to say this, the voice of the father, listen, and this may mess some single women up. I'm going to speak the truth. Some baby mamas, you may get mad, but I'm going to speak the truth. Speaking life over your children from the father. The father, listen, the most important voice in the universe, I said the universe, is the father's voice. It speaks authority. It speaks life. It speaks affirmation. It speaks to them to let them know they can do anything. That's why fathers, and if you on here, even if you pretty much you're not with your mom, baby mom, or whatever that looks like, find your children to speak life from. I don't care. Just make sure they know you in the picture, whatever that looks like. I know I lost some people on that, but that's the truth. That's the truth. The father's voice is so important in the child's life. So you want to make sure you start speaking life over your children, specifically your daughters. Let them know, because if you don't do it, Dad, some knothead dude will come along and do it for you, and not the way you think. Yeah, they'll do it for you, and they won't be so pretty. So I'm telling you, speak life over your children. This is so important. This helps with their depression. This helps for the development. My boys, the same way. And I'll say this, I don't know if I have black, white, or green on here, but I'm going to tell you the truth. When it comes down to my black boys, My chocolate, but I'm not talking, listen, I'm not talking about my color, which is cool. I'm talking about blue, black. I'm talking about brown. I'm talking about that caramel color. All in between there. Speak life. Is a reason why they want our boys, particularly black boys, gone. And I'm telling you straight out, my wife works in the school district. And it's sad because when they don't see themselves represented in front of them, they act out. They act out. And sure enough, the teachers, some Caucasian, some Latinos, they don't know how to handle the black boys. They don't. Immediately they'll write them off. They're doing this, they're doing that. And write them off and send them to the office. And they're just trying to, literally, they're trying to express themselves in the best way they can. So I stress to you, particularly to my boys, speak over them. Speak over these chocolate boys. Speak over these black brothers. Speak over them. Teenagers, little boy, whatever, speak over them. They need to hear it from you. Daughters, same with, listen, mothers, they need to hear it from you. This is important. So let me move. Number 5, we're talking. Depression can be a physical issue / chemical imbalance. Now, you may argue with me and say, no, there's no such thing as chemical imbalances. I beg to differ. You know, I used to have that same argument too. But when it comes down to chemical imbalances, ladies and gentlemen, understand that it is a problem with the physical aspect. So what you have now, this chemical imbalance that happens in a child or in a person could come, listen, from different chemicals they put in their body. Could be medication. Yes, it could be that they didn't get certain nourishment as a child, so they didn't develop properly. It could be so many different avenues here that causes the chemical imbalance. But let me read this really quick. Depression can be a physical issue where there is a chemical imbalance in the brain. There is several pretty much chemicals, including pretty much pheromones and endorphins and so forth, believed to regulate moods in the brain. So what happens when you have, particularly your endorphin? So dopamine pretty much is when you're happy or certain things come out in the brain. So a certain chemical is released. It's almost like, it's like when you're in love, right? When you find that person, I'm talking to adult, when you're in love with someone and you're in love with that person, certain chemicals release. So like when it comes down to oxytocin, so oxytocin pretty much is the glue that connects you with somebody. So here we go. Now here's the pastor side of me. There are times, and if you note, there's a term that we use in the church called soul ties. Now, if you understand about soul ties, is when you connect with somebody, and then as you connect with them, you pretty much you don't know why you can't get rid of them. That's because your endorphins. Now, that's the chemical. All right. Also, pretty much dopamine pretty much releases, and that's the glue that seals you. So no matter if you're across the world, you're still connected to them. You just like they could be 10,000 miles away, but you feel like you're next to them. It's like you want them so bad. Connection. That's why we always tell folk, and I've been there along with other folk, wait until you're married. I ain't waiting up. Okay, got it. You don't want to wait. Go on, whatever. That's your business. I'm just trying to get you to understand that there's certain things that release. When that pretty much is off, all these things are off. These chemical imbalances come into play because you did not do the right things in your life. Amen. Take care of yourself. Or maybe it could be an ailment that you had and you had to take certain prescriptions. I get it. I understand. But it's important that you realize that and you recognize that and you do something about it. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to note A, B, and C. Now, you know what? I can't go there, or I can't watch this movie, or I can't pretty much eat or drink this because you know how it gets me. For some, here we go. This is when I start losing. Folks started dropping off already, but it's the truth. When you smoke weed, When you smoke the trees, you say, Rick, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm telling you, there can be a lot wrong with it. And I'll be, listen, let me be frank here. The stuff that folks are smoking today is not the stuff they smoked back in the day. Stop. They're putting a whole bunch of craziness in your stuff. Now, you can argue me if it's right to smoke weed or something. I don't care. That's irrelevant to me. I'm telling you, you know your proclivities and you know what you do. If you smoke it, it's going to play on you. If you smoke it, it may play on you. So you have to know your limit. And again, I'm not here to beat you up and say you shouldn't smoke, you should smoke it. That's between, look, that's really something you have to really come to the conclusion. And I'm speaking to Christians right now. You have to really come to the conclusion, is it right? What does the Bible say about it? Go research it. Just trying to get you to understand. Does it put you in hell or heaven? Not the scriptures that I read. But it will, listen, it sure don't put you closer to God. That I will say. It will not, no ma'am. No ma'am. You may think so, but it's not. No. So my word to you, if you know that smoking certain types of pretty much whatever types of reefer, I said reefer, that dates me, weed or whatever, what happens is when you get into the mindset of using it on a regular basis, now this is scientific when I'm talking, right? This is a study. Studies have shown if you smoke it for more than 10 years, it's a possibility that you can develop become schizophrenic. You can develop schizophrenia. Go look at the studies. I'm not making it up. Please go look at the studies. Let me read something on TikTok somebody wrote. It ain't what it used to. Yep. That's why I don't want to smoke anymore. Amen. I ain't mad at you. Amen. That's it. It's not what it used to be. I don't know what they put in it. I was never a smoker. I just been around it. I had secondhand contact. But it's the truth. It's a whole nother level of craziness they put in it now. And I'm seeing, and if I may say, I'm seeing more and more people lose their minds. I live in the city of Hawthorne in LA County, here in California. I'm driving up a particular boulevard, going to a particular hat store that I love. I'm driving up. As I hit a light, and I believe the Holy Spirit was just telling me something. This woman walks across the street, half naked, out of her mind. You can see it. Now, I don't know if she was on something or whatever. I go a little further up. I see another woman on the bus stop. All of them women of color. That's where I live. All right, so just FYI. I go up, maybe two big lights up, another person on pretty much on the street, just talking to themselves. Not on the phone. They have the headset. They're just going in. Whoever they're talking to, they're having a full-blown conversation. And what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that they're having these conversations because wholeheartedly, I believe, that something, narcotic something, put them there. And I say that because I'm seeing it more and more in young people, and they're just smoking weed because of the depression they're going through. Here we go. So the depression they go through, they smoke more weed, thinking that it may help them suppress the thoughts. No, it enhances the thoughts. I feed the homeless every third Saturday with the group. We go down and feed the homeless every third Saturday. I'm going to come on TikTok, watch for me. And by the way, subscribe, please. Please subscribe to this channel if you don't mind. I am Ricardo Arce. I am Ricardo Arce. So please, if you're on TikTok, Facebook, please do the same. And I'm going to make sure I read your comments if you say anything. Somebody says, say that. Yes, ma'am. Simone, God bless you. Thank you. But there is a notion that the people downtown, as I talk to them, interact. I've been doing it for like 12 years now, and I give you the ministry we help. We call it Blessed Seeds of God. So all of us get together, different groups, ministries. We go down, $5 in each bag, food, and we hand out bags to like 350 people. So we do it for San Pedro and 6. If you're in the LA area, you know Christ, you're saved, please inbox me. I'd love to have you come down and participate. All right, so inbox me. But please do me a favor. If you're on TikTok with me, if you're on Facebook, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share the whole 9 yards. All right. So, and as I'm down there, I'm noticing a lot of pretty much people, a lot of young people who are, they're not on drug. I'll say drug, which weed is a drug. You can say what you want to say. They're smoking it, but I noticed they're getting worse over the months that I've been there. I've seen them. And over the years, there's some people who just passed on. But I just noticed this particular thing that is going on. And I bring that up because a lot of them deal with depression. And so what they're doing in Los Angeles, they're trying to get all the homeless off the streets and put them in buildings and so forth, but they don't get them the help that they need. Yeah, they don't give them the help that they need to deal with this, not just spiritually, but mentally, getting the professionals in there and helping them. So these things come up. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is to not make the mistake and continue down a fault where you're constantly putting yourself in a situation where you know depression's about to happen, but you just soak in it. You just, this is me, this is just who I am, and this is how God made me. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He did not make you like this. So I trust that you're going to take heed, allow God to do what he needs to do in you. And I know, listen, you probably saying, get up, man, I didn't feel like hearing about God and so forth. Listen, it's in me. That's all I talk about. I know this is pretty much a channel about relationships and so forth, but I had to take time out to talk about the spirit or this mindset, this heartbreaking, we call it a mental health issue, whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is that I want to believe that you can get the help that you need. And I believe wholeheartedly that it can come through Christ. Yes. But I don't want you to cover it up with the Bible, but really start leaning in on God and getting pretty much to know him more. Because there are many people who I know who are not famous, who have passed on because they just couldn't handle it anymore. They got depressed and they checked out. And to the family of Twitch, of Mr. Boss, my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to them because it's just it's sad. Sometimes it leaves you speechless because it's insane on how this has happened. And it's going to continue to happen. I'll leave you with this. And this is what bugged me. I saw this commercial. I saw a commercial that was about euthanasia. Euthanasia in a nutshell is someone assists you to kill yourself. That's it. Yeah. Somebody's going to assist you to kill yourself, to commit suicide. They have a commercial for it. And what you see is geared towards young people. I'm saying young people like millennials. I noticed it. And the commercial starts, I couldn't find it, but I want to play it one night. That they're at the beach and calm, smooth voice comes over and telling you they can assist you, A, B, and C. They will never say suicide or, assist you in death. They didn't say all of that. Probably legally can't say it. But they give really full description of what they will help you with. And it is real. It is in our time. And if you don't think that pretty much things are getting crazier, it's going to get worse. My hope and prayer is that you stay in your right mind. And my hope and prayer that you pray for me that I stay in my right mind. Yeah. All of us can be affected. So I leave you with understanding that, what you listen to, who you interact with, it's important. Somebody be out here trying to find the spiritual balance. Yeah. Yeah. People be out here trying. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Miss Simone Harris, thank you so much. I leave you with the thought that whatever you're going through, And listen, and to this one person who's on TikTok, this one person, I'm talking to you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't come on TikTok often, but for you to sit here and just interact with me, I really appreciate it. And I hope in some way, somehow, this helped you. Miss Simone, the same for you on on your Facebook. Got some others pretty much on the other channels and so forth, but the one, I just want to reach out to you and say thank you. Be encouraged. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in this foolishness. Fix your thought pattern. Fix your heart. How what you think. So what what some man thinketh, so he is. The word lets us know. God has a plan. God has tremendous things for us, and we have to stay focused. We have to stay sober minded. That's why you don't smoke the trees. You need to be sober minded. Yeah, he needs you in this fight. He has great things for you, but he needs you in this fight. My name is Ricardo Arce. This is Love Works. I pray that you were blessed tonight. I hope you learned something. Hope you got something. Join me. I'm going to be announcing some things very soon as far as when you're coming on a regular basis so we can interact and have a good time and get through some things together, if that's okay. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Good night.